The applause gave her the opportunity to glance down at the stack of index cards she was holding in her hands. There was a lot to cover: parent involvement, budget approval, fundraising ideas. She then commenced to plow through them all, covering every topic on her agenda, telling herself to slow down as she raced to get through to the end. She stumbled a couple of times, tripping over a word here, a word there, looking up, red-faced, only to be met with friendly, understanding smiles. That relaxed her a bit. Then down went her head again, eyes fixed on her index cards until she was holding the last one in her hand. So, in conclusion, let's all work together to make this year at Sopo High the best one yet. The auditorium erupted in applause. That was it. She was almost done. Just a 5-minute question-and-answer session, and then she would be home free. The first question was an easy one about the new football uniforms. "I'm happy to report the uniforms have been ordered and will arrive before the homecoming game in October," Sandra reported, smiling. Next, a breathlessly excited mother shot her hand up in the air with an inquiry about the fall musical. "I heard they might do Hello, Dolly. Is that true? I love that musical, and although I'm biased, I think my daughter Jana would be the perfect Dolly Levi." Sandra caught a few eye rolls from the other parents. She had to suppress a smile. "I'm not sure our director, the ridiculously talented Georgina Callis, has selected which musical the theater department will be staging this fall, but please keep checking the school's webpage for updates." Sandra resisted the urge to check her watch. She was eager to get out of there, but didn't want to let on that she was in too much of a rush to wrap things up. She wanted to give the parents all the time they needed. A father stood and asked if there was going to be a spring trip to Paris for the French class after what happened last year with the temporary detainment of one student for attempting to draw a mustache on Mona Lisa at the Louvre with a magic marker. "That was an isolated incident, so I see no reason why this year's class should be punished." Suddenly, Sandra heard a bunch of cell phone alerts ringing from all over the auditorium. She hadn't seen this many phones going off since she and her husband were at their son's Little League game way back in 2010, when word went out all over the world that a SEAL team had nailed bin Laden. Whatever the news was, it sounded awfully important. There was a lot of urgent whispering and murmurs as people looked down at their phones. Sandra was now dying of curiosity and wanted to step off the stage and fish her own phone out of her bag to see what had everyone buzzing. "If there are no more questions..." A woman with bright red hair and a color print blouse that was so loud it practically screamed solemnly stood from her chair with her hand raised. "Yes, I have one." Sandra waited expectantly as the woman took a deep breath and glanced down at her phone, which she clutched in her right hand. "Would you like to address the latest headline on dirty laundry?" Sandra sighed. She was quite familiar with Dirty Laundry, a gossipy website that had popped up recently, solely focused on salacious scandals relating to people involved with Sopo High, students, teachers, coaches, even parents. It was a no-holds-barred trash bin full of rumors and innuendos, none of it backed up with any meaningful evidence, and despite the school's best efforts to unmask the identity of the site's creator, so far they had had zero luck. Sandra didn't want to give this putrid site any more oxygen, but as she gazed across the auditorium at the shocked faces of the parents in attendance, she couldn't help but finally ask, "What are they saying now?" The redhead with the ugly blouse cleared her throat, swaying from side to side uncomfortably as she gathered up her courage to speak. "If you don't mind me just reading the headline." Sandra nodded. Permission granted. "New PTA president's senator husband uses taxpayer money to hush up blockbuster sex scandal." Sandra grabbed both edges of the podium with her hands to keep from falling. The words were like a gut punch. The whispers and murmurs stopped.